Willow Springs Raceway, Rosemont, California, 75 miles north of Los Angeles on the Mojave Desert. A blistering September Sunday in what would turn out to be the most important AMA Superbike race of the season. The largest crowd ever to view a motorcycle race at Willow Springs turned out in force to watch what was to become the final wheel-to-wheel confrontation between the Honda superstar from Connecticut, Mike Baldwin, and a young blonde-haired Southern Californian named Wayne Rainey. The Kawasaki Team Tour folks were out in force to cheer on Rainey and his teammate Wes Cooley. And as the temperature rose, the pre-race tensions mounted. And the thousands of fans would remember this race for years to come. For the stage was set for the showdown between the Superbike superpowers. While the Kawasaki crew made last-minute adjustments to Cooley's GPZ750, mechanic Steve Johnson pushed Wayne Rainey out for a practice lap. With Rainey holding a 5-point edge over Baldwin going into this race, the pace was frantic in the Honda pits. Even though Rainey and Baldwin qualified within 2/100ths of a second of each other, Honda was taking no chances. Their mechanics were instructed to pull what seemed to be a stronger motor from Fred Merkel's Interceptor and drop it into Mike Baldwin's machine, which stood awaiting the engine transplant. The Honda mechanics weren't the only ones concerned, as Mike Baldwin spoke of a dwindling horsepower advantage.
I had it in the back of their mind, you know, the Kawasaki boys were going to find the power and catch right up. They did it the year before.
Couldn't last forever, right?
No, things like that don't. We had a jump on them, like I said, from testing over the winter, but I knew that they were going to catch up.
The view from the top wasn't so good either. Honda Racing Director Toshiro Kezuka.
We are very nervous to this situation.
You're very nervous?
Yeah. Frankly speaking.
The first part of the year, Daytona, Honda was just running over everybody, and Kawasaki was way
responsible for that very nice job was Kawasaki racing manager Gary Mathers, who conceded an earlier horsepower deficit.
Yes, it was a little bit bad for us in the beginning of the season, Larry, but we did some development, got some things going, and we're doing much better now.
Going into today's race here at Willow, you find Wayne Rainey 5 points ahead of Mike Baldwin. That's got to make you happy.
Yeah, it does. Wayne is a little bit ahead, and he's won the last 3 races, and we won the last 5 out of 6 races, so we're doing very well right now.
Strategy, Gary Mathers, today. Put Rainey on front, and Wes Cooley, his teammate, in second to hold off Baldwin for the points?
We'd like to get Wes in between Wayne and whoever else we can just to get more points. This is a 2-leg race, so we're going to run the main event on 2 different legs. So everybody's got 2 chances, and we're just going to do the best we can, try and get Wayne out front and leave him there.
Good luck today.
Thanks a lot, Larry.
If Mathers seemed confident compared to the Honda camp, it was with good reason. Kawasaki had won the previous 2 national Superbike championships. And with number 60, Wayne Rainey, Kawasaki's chances for a 3rd straight title looked good. A Superbike title that Honda had never won. But it wasn't for a lack of trying, because Honda brought out the heavy artillery. And as the field lined up for the first leg, Rainey found Mike Baldwin on his left, Roberto Pietri on his right, and a sea of Honda surrounding him. The start, and Mike Baldwin rocketed into the lead immediately, cutting across the front of the pack to the outside of the track. Rainey tucked in behind Baldwin, with flying Fred Merkel in 3rd as they dove into turn number 1. Up the hill into turn 4, Baldwin was holding his lead, with Rainey a close second. As they flashed down the front straightaway past the pits at 150 miles an hour, it was Baldwin, Rainey, and they stayed in that order up through the horseshoe, flicking their 2-wheeled rocket ships back and forth around the right-hander into turn number 5. Then tragedy struck. At the top of turn 7, a tricky high-speed right-hander at the crest of a hill, Baldwin's front wheel was apparently picked up by a gust of wind, putting him off the track. After unsuccessfully trying to regain control of his machine, Baldwin stepped over the handlebars at 110 miles an hour. The bike burst into flames and slid over 150 yards down the track as Baldwin slid to a stop and sat stunned in the middle of the track. As the ambulance pulled up to administer first aid to Baldwin, a stunned Wayne Rainey led Merkel and Cooley past the smoldering wreckage. Rainey dropped to 3rd momentarily as Cooley took over the lead. Merkel then passed Cooley. Rainey shook off the effects of Baldwin's crash and dove into 2nd behind Merkel. Then the 2 Kawasaki pilots took control and led through the remainder of the first leg. Rainey down the back straightaway at close to 160 miles an hour, halfway to his first national title. Through turn 9, capturing the first leg of a race that would provide many more surprises as the day wore on. Back into the Honda pits, Baldwin's SuperBike, now a charred piece of metal and fiberglass. A reminder of the ever-present dangers of SuperBike racing, even for the best. Honda road race manager Udo Giedel on Baldwin's condition.
I just spoke to his doctor at the local hospital and informed us that he has 3 broken ribs and a punctured lung.
That finishes him for the rest of the year. 3 broken ribs and a punctured lung, right?
I'm afraid so.
Sponsor Dick Razik on the prospect of another Kirker Kawasaki Superbike Championship.
I'm happy about it. We do have to finish the last heat to sew it up, but we feel pretty confident about that.
The riders gridded for the all-important second leg. Wayne Rainey on the pole with his teammate Wes Cooley way back in the 4th row. The green flag drops and flying Fred Merkel flies into the lead. Wayne Rainey in 6th through turn 1. It was a Honda freight train through the horseshoe. Merkel, John Betancourt, Roberto Pietre, and Sam McDonald, all trying desperately to stop the Kawasaki of Wayne Rainey. Here running in 5th spot. Rainey knew he had to finish 3rd or better to win the Superbike Championship. Merkel set a blistering pace, pulling away from the other Hondas. But Rainey was starting to make his move as Merkel opened up his lead. Rainey had moved into 2nd spot by just the 2nd lap. Rainey right behind Merkel as they fly down the straightaway, nose to tail at over 140 miles an hour as they dive into turn number 1. It was a Honda double sandwich coming through turn 4. Merkel, Rainey, Cooley, and Honda support rider Sam McDonald. Rainey was content to let McDonald by and drop to 3rd. And for a moment, it looked like Honda's back. Then, Merkel was down. Let's take a look at it again. Red flag came out for the first time in heat number 2, and Fred Merkel, despite having slid almost 200 feet on his back, suffered only a cut forearm. Race promoter Jim Moore suddenly explains to Gary Mathers why the race must go on. And go on it did, as Wayne Rainey moved out in front on the restart with Honda's Sam McDonald close on his tailpipe. But not for long. Going downhill into turn number 5, McDonald loses it. The bike catapults itself across the track directly in front of Wes Cooley. Let's see that in slow motion. The flying interceptor misses Cooley by inches, and Cooley puts his left foot down to avoid a crash. Cooley frantically braked his Kawasaki to avoid the Honda, but managed to keep it upright. Completely oblivious to the accident behind him, sped on to the final red flag of the day. So after dropping 14 points behind after the Portland National, Wayne Rainey took both the overall win at the Budweiser Kirker National and his first Superbike championship, setting yet another record, that of being the first rider in AME Superbike history to win 4 consecutive Superbike events. Wes Cooley was second at Willow Springs, with Honda's Sam McDonald finishing third. In winning a third straight Superbike championship for Kawasaki, Wayne Rainey overcame heavily stacked odds against him and once again set the standard against which all other Superbikes must be measured.
Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Get aboard, get away. And you're gonna